And this year we're back with a favourite from the past, Culture Wars, with my good friend Rowan Dean, host of Outsiders on Sky News on Sundays at 9 a.m. Great to see you again, Rowan. Hey, Rowan, let's start with Cate Blanchett. Now, I think she's a very good actor, but when she speaks her own lines instead of ones written for her, things do tend to get a bit unhinged. She's already won, take this, she's already won Best Actress at the Golden Globes for her latest role, conductor in the film Tar, and another Best Actress she got on Monday, the Critics' Choice Awards, which she then gave, what to me, particularly since she was clutching her prize, a rather hypocritical speech. Have a look.
It's like, what is this? It's this patriarchal pyramid where someone stands up here. Why don't we just say there is a whole raft of female performances that are in concert and in dialogue with one another? And stop the televised horse race of it all. Because, can I tell you, every single woman, whether, television, film, advertising, tampon commercials, whatever, you're all out doing amazing work that is inspiring me continually.
Stop those awards, she cries, greedily clutching the latest of many. What do you make of that?
Well, Andrew, great to see you again. And I'm glad she recognises the brilliant work done by tampon advertisers around the world. They are in a class of their own, particularly those that are now advertising tampons for men, of course. That's opened up a whole new category. And, of course, I'm sure there are some excellent, talented directors out there doing that. Andrew, Cate Blanchett is a graduate of NIDA. NIDA was set up by the Australian taxpayer as a means of promoting excellence in the arts. The job of NIDA, which the taxpayer has funded you and me for decades now, is to find the very, very best talent and put that very, very best talent on the world stage to promote Australia as a cultural beachhead, to establish Australian talent in all its diversity. So for Cate Blanchett to now be standing there and telling us, oh, no, that's all unimportant. Meritocracy? No, forget that. Anybody who points a camera at anything, presumably an iPhone or a whatever clip they want to do, they're an artist, they're fantastic, they're talented. We shouldn't have awards. We shouldn't have the very best at the top being awarded for doing a great job. We should just let everybody be inspirational. This is the death
Prizes
of art,
for everyone.
Culture.
Prizes for everyone. I mean, why don't you blame the patriarchy? I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's the patriarchy. No one forced her to go to these things. She's already accepted 2 of these damn Oscars, for instance, plus these latest awards. No one forced her to be there. No one forced her to do that. Oh, sure, me, I've won. Oh, she could have just refused to go, refused to enter. She could have done all of that. Instead, she sucks up the statues and then gives this speech, oh, look, I shouldn't really have them. Oh, you should have them. But you try and grab that statue from her hand and see how far you get.
Exactly. Exactly. But this, Andrew, this is what we're all about when we say that talent doesn't matter. This whole idea that nobody should be better than anybody else. This is the woke ideology, and it's so destructive, Andrew.
Look, I wish someone had taken her up and said, well, look, can I have that
don't go to the award
statue there? No, it's exactly right. The hypocrisy. And, of course, the blaming of men. I mean, it's just so sad. Oh, it's only the patriarchs that make us come here. Seriously. Meanwhile, I don't know why you said this was related, but I'm all agog here, Rowan. You have been struck by news of the death of former Italian film star Gina Lollobrigida, who was once billed as the most beautiful woman in the world. Why is that?
Well, because this is the very opposite of what Cate Blanchett is talking about. So Gina Lollobrigida was a sex symbol there's no other way of putting it, to a generation of Italian men, French men, American, Western men. She was very self-consciously a sex symbol. She prided herself on being a sex symbol. She basically used sex and her attractiveness and her great acting talent to further her career. She went from Italy to France to around the world. And she was unabashed about being an object of desire. And again, this goes to the heart of what culture used to be about: celebrating beauty, celebrating human excellence, celebrating the greatest of the great in terms of talent, in terms of look, in terms of artistry, skill, and so on. And every individual is different. And that is the point. This is why the generation of people like Gina Lollobrigida, who, by the way, worked with everybody from Humphrey Bogart to Rock Hudson to Tony Curtis. All the Hollywood greats admired her. In fact, it was Humphrey Bogart who said that she made Marilyn Monroe look like Shirley Temple. So this is what we used to do. We used to celebrate womanhood, but now womanhood is derided, and the only people who are allowed to be as sexy as Gina Lollobrigida is your local drag queen playing bingo down at the local surf club. It's a joke. Bring back femininity, bring back the excellence of femininity, and bring back the women who pride that femininity.
Oh, that was brilliant. That was just brilliant. And by the way, she didn't let this sex star thing and all that define her, because in her private life, she was actually quite a talented artist, for instance.
Indeed.
Well, yeah, it's quite a cultured
Andrew,
woman.
she stood in the recent Italian election for some bizarre Italian party, which was a mixture of pro-communism, anti-EU, and anti-vax. So she was quite a character, standing for election. She didn't win, but even at 95, there she was, fighting for what she believed in passionately.
Well, good on her. Put her there with Brigitte Bardot. Rowan, Jeremy Clarkson, the British Stevie Tar and columnist, he wrote a disastrous column last year saying how much he hated Meghan Markle. And he said he dreamed of her being made to strip naked while people threw manure at her. Now, he meant that to be a very clumsy and ill-judged reference to a famous scene from Game of Thrones. But it's been smashed for it. The column's been removed, record number of complaints to the authorities, and perhaps rightly so, I think, for seeming to condone violence against women. Now, Clarkson now suggests that Amazon Prime is now cancelling future TV projects with him, even though he's a superstar there for them. Is now apologised in a private letter to the Sussexes, is now also apologised in public to them, but his apology has been rejected by Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, who said, while a new public apology has been issued today by Mr. Clarkson, what remains to be addressed is his long-standing pattern of writing articles that spread hate rhetoric, dangerous conspiracy theories, and misogyny. What do you make of that? They seem to want Clarkson to essentially stop being Clarkson. Is that fair enough?
Well, I think this is quite tragic, and it really does go to the sickness at the heart of our times. Of course, you're right to say that, taken at face value, what Clarkson said was appalling. If he was advocating for violence against another human being, that is the absolute no-no in terms of free speech. But as always, you have to look at the context, and as always, you're right to point out that he was quoting or drawing a parallel with the Netflix series Game of Thrones. Well, there are two Game of Thrones as they're currently running on Netflix. One is the one they film in Croatia and elsewhere, that has dragons and all sorts of things. The other is the Game of Thrones being penned and played out by the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, deliberately trying to undermine the real throne of Britain, Harry's brother, the future king, Harry's father, the current king. You have two individuals on Netflix and in the bookstores making squillions out of undermining one of the most ancient democratic institutions in the world, or certainly power institutions in the world, and the foundation of our democracy and many other democracies. So these two are playing a Game of Thrones. And for Jeremy Clarkson to use that as an analogy is not a far stretch. In fact, it's quite legitimate for him to do so. So as normal, we've taken the context away, we've removed the context, and we're just hyperventilating about the actual words. Now, Andrew, I spent much of the Christmas break reading the brilliant Act of Oblivion by Robert Harris, which is all about the restoration of the monarchy after the puritanical times of Oliver Cromwell. And let me tell you, parading Meghan or anyone else through the streets and having thrown at her is nothing compared to what 450 years ago was being meted out.
I know, but I mean, that's true. But that's, yeah, I thought he went too far, but please, show some measure of compassion when someone does apologise. Thank you so much, Rowan Dean.